Hi, folks. Welcome back. And for those of you new, welcome. Well, let's see. Ukraine is being devastated by Russia. NATO is edging for war to start World War III. Now we're talking about maybe low-level nuclear exchanges in Eastern Europe. Inflation is eating away at the savings of millions and millions of Americans. The cost of food and survival is getting insurmountable. The unemployment rate in New York City is the highest it's ever been in decades. The turmoil of the SCOTUS hearings, when we have a SCOTUS nominee that can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, and everything else, we just pile it all up, and it's enough to make you jump out of the 20-story window. But for a little comic relief, let's go to the Babylon Bee and see what they're up to. Before we start, I want to say thank you for all of my loyal subscribers. I appreciate it. I've got pretty much under the thumb of YouTube and been shadow banned pretty bad. So anybody that sees my videos and thinks my content is worth looking at, please send the link that's in the top of the page to any of your social media sites. Share it with everybody you can. Email, social media, here on YouTube. Get around YouTube's algorithm, which is just killing me. We can't give up. We won't give up. Let's read on. Oh, here's a good story here. Let's start with this one. Are you a woman? 12 signs to look for. What is a woman? Nobody knows, not even Supreme Court nominees. We've come up with a few key indicators to look for. Run through the list and keep track of how many yes answers you come up with. The more affirmatives, the more likely you're a chick. Now, the first one it got me right away. Are you always cold? Yeah, that's a common one. Women don't get cold; they're freezing. It's really comical. Has a human ever popped out of you? Oh, okay. Have you ever decorated a bed with 6 or more pillows? Can you tell the difference between cream white and rustic farmhouse white? Have you run into a curb in the last 24 hours? Be honest now. I'll skip the number 6. Does it take you over 3 hours to decide what to eat? Do you find simple movie plots hard to follow? Oh, that's a little insulting. Now, this is one that's really true. Any guys in relationships will tell you. Do you frequently describe your emotional state as fine when you are not, in fact, fine? And at the same time, they say to you, we don't communicate. Is your Starbucks drink order anything other than black coffee? Do you have 2 X chromosomes? And then, of course, the list there. 0 to 2, there's a small chance you're a dude, bro. Getting some real feminine vibes here, and so on and so on. I doubt those are just funny. Let's see what else the Babylon Bee's got for us today. Now, this is going to stir up some controversy, even though it shouldn't. Kindergartner granted PhD in biology after correctly distinguishing boy from girl. Grafney, South Carolina. I don't know where they come up with these names. Multiple 5-year-old witnesses confirmed that their teacher, Miss Wolfenstrom, dropped the class gerbil in awe after hearing brilliant young kindergartner Timothy correctly describe boys as having a penis and girls a vagina. Within hours, young Timothy had been granted a PhD in biology. We hereby grant the intellectual phenom, young Timothy Swanson, this honored PhD in biology for his work in clearly differentiating the subtle variations between Homo sapien boys and girls, said the chairman of the American Council of Biology PhDs, while handing a certificate to the young boy who only hours ago was sticking crayon shavings up his nose. And you can read the rest of it. Oh, you can pause the video if you want. Let's see what else the Babylon Bee's got going on today. Let's see. People who haven't changed their profile picture to Ukrainian flag added to FBI terrorist watch list. potential terror threats. Trump supporters, concerned parents who want children to succeed, and people who haven't yet changed their profile picture of the Ukrainian flag. National Terror Watch List update. Washington, D.C. To assist the Ukrainian people, the president has directed the FBI to begin monitoring social media accounts and taking note of anyone who hasn't updated their profile picture of the Ukrainian flag. All users found out of compliance will be added to the FBI terror watch list. Well, there goes your screwing your chance to get on a plane. The new initiative from within the Federal Bureau of Investigation will automatically scan everyone's social media profiles and red flag those who don't have a Ukrainian flag as their profile picture, or at a very minimum, a border around their avatar proclaiming, "I stand with Ukraine. Let's start World War III now." You can read the rest, but at publishing time, people who have not yet declared that Rachel Levin was a biological woman were also added to the terror list. It's really amazing to me. It truly is. Russia is run by scumbags. Putin is a dictator. They're bad people. Ukraine is run by a jerk, scumbag, who puts his political opponents in jail and shuts down TV and radio stations, and he's a scumbag too. So one bigger scumbag country invaded another scumbag-run country. Now, all those deaths, innocent people, it's tragic. All kidding aside, it's horrible. War is horrible, always will be just horrific. But we put ourselves in so many situations over the years. Look at Iraq. Look at Afghanistan. Look at Syria. The list is endless. Egypt. It's just enough to just grind us into dust. Enough is enough is enough. Helping a country that's being invaded, I have no problem with. Selling them arms or leasing them arms. We did Lend-Lease, and before U.S. was involved in World War II to England to fight the Nazis. Have no problem with any of that. Which, by the way, they never paid us back, but that's a different issue. I'm speaking about England in the 1940s. But that's besides the point. Yeah, we've always helped those who we thought, we got to pick the better of the two crappy sides. Okay. The problem is with Ukraine, they are screwed over by geography. Always have, always will be. And that's just the way it is. And that's bad luck for them. Do I go along with what's going on? Of course not. You'd have to be a monster. But to have U.S. intervention, forget it. Help? Yes. Intervention? No. Now, I'm going to have to be really careful when I talk about this. Twitter suspends the Babylon Bee. This is actually isn't satire. This is actually true. Readers of the Bee, we received a notice from Twitter last night informing us we've been locked out of our account for engaging in hateful conduct. Our crime, we jokingly selected Rachel Levin, a prominent transgender government official, as our pick for Man of the Year. Yeah, that was a little tacky. Yeah, maybe, but that's what satire is. Comedy, satire, they're the canary in the coal mine. And when they go, you know you're in trouble. This is our sticker response to Levin's being named one of the top women of the year by USA Today. Yes, that actually happened. That's true. We were told our account will be restored in 12 hours, but the countdown won't begin until we delete the tweet that violates Twitter rules. Now, Twitter can take this down in a second if they want to, but they won't, and you'll see why. Here's Twitter's statement to the media regarding our account suspension. The account you referenced has been temporarily locked for violating our hateful conduct policy. The account owner is required to delete the volatile tweet before regaining access to their account. Twitter could, of course, delete the tweet themselves, but they won't. It's not enough for them just to wipe it out. They want us to bend the knee and admit we engaged in hateful conduct. And that's the deal. That's the real deal of it. It's satire. I can promise you that's not happening. Truth is not hate speech. If the cost of telling the truth is the loss of our Twitter account, then so be it. We won't compromise the truth just to keep our account. The media's picked up the story now. Even left-wing sites are covering it. I'll be on Tucker Carlson later tonight to talk about it. And it goes on and on and on. Here's a couple of things you can do. First, comment to never censoring yourself. Insist that 2 and 2 make 4, even if Twitter tries to compel you to say otherwise. Make them ban tens of millions of us if they want to remove objective truth from their platform. And then it goes on to them, they want you to be a premium subscriber to help them get around the revenue that's being lost by not being on Twitter and other sites. And just me reporting this, and right now I've got, 16 days left. I have a community guideline strike on my channel because I reported on a Project Veritas undercover concerning COVID. Did I go too far? I don't know. It's not for them to decide. And those of you that think, well, John, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all the rest, they're privately owned companies. They can do what they want to. Okay, let's do that. Let's make them publishers. They can pick and choose what stays on there. I have no problem with it. But take away the exemption under federal law that bars them from being sued for content that's on their sites. I believe it's Section 230, but don't quote me. Get rid of that. And what will happen is in less than 6 months, all of them will go out of business. They want it both ways, and that is really the issue. These community guidelines, I got a warning on talking about a Time magazine article that goes into detail and how the Democrats did things in the 2020 election, legal things. It's just amazing. I got a warning, and then I got a strike from reporting on undercover Project Veritas concerning COVID. Even little guys like me are getting throttled. And the Babylon Bee's got a lot more clout than I do. And this channel has been shadow banned, has been stomped on. I've been trying for over a year. I tried to expand the channel. I sold my business last spring. I wanted to put a lot more time and effort into the channel. And people like YouTube have made it impossible. Now I've branched out into other sites, i.e. Parler, Rumble, a few others. Facebook, I'm still on technically, Getter. And it's tough starting from scratch. I've had this channel on here since 2013 when I used to do just chess videos, and I changed it over to news and politics. And ever since then, they've had their foot on my neck. And it really sucks. And it's really discouraging for people that are trying to talk about the issues they want to talk about and the points of view that they have with other people that share their points of view as well, or try to convince other people that your point of view is the correct one. They make it impossible. So even though I started off this video in a joking way, Twitter suspends the Babylon Bee is a huge story, a lot more than people think. With all the things that are going on in the world and in our country, we can't be distracted from these things that aren't really part of the news, because other things are much bigger. There's other things going on that we need to know about. We'll see. I'm optimistic in the end conservative people will win. But this is going to be a dark time for the next 6 months especially, and then the remaining 2 years. We all can just hope and pray things work out. Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.